Back, you're watching Fox and Friends First. The left eager to claim victory over President Trump's border order. But not only are they suing over it, they're fundraising off of it, too. Nancy Pelosi sending out this email to supporters asking for contributions to what she calls a blatant abuse of power. But are Democrats getting ahead of themselves on this issue? Here now to weigh in is the director of the California Women's Leadership Association, Ashley Hayek. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So what about that question? I mean, Democrats, are they getting ahead of themselves in this battle?
Absolutely. You know, it's absolutely unconscionable that Democrats will be willing to use a humanitarian crisis, a crisis along our border, to fundraise off of. But I think that goes to show you how divisive this issue is for Democrats. They have put off making a decision about the border. Congress has deferred for decades. And so now that you have a president who's willing to do something about it and who is taking action, they can't handle it. And so this is how they're going to further attack the president.
You know, if you take a look at the numbers in terms of California versus the Trump administration, there have been at least 45 lawsuits filed by California against this administration. And when you talk about the cost involved, that's about $9.2 million in 2018 alone.
That's correct. The amount of money that has been wasted, the amount of California taxpayer dollars that has been wasted attacking this president is absolutely despicable. And California taxpayers should be furious over this.
But then if you take the reverse, the Trump administration has filed like 3 lawsuits against California. So significantly different.
Exactly. I mean, the Attorney General in California is quite frankly out of control. This is a man who's actually threatened California businesses with an up to $10,000 fine for cooperating with federal immigration authority. He is obviously siding on the side of criminals and, illegal immigrants as opposed to with the taxpayers and people who are actually providing a revenue in the state of California.
Yeah, and we were just talking about the number of MS-13 gang members in some of these caravans that are approaching our border. So there are definitely dangerous issues present in some of these people that are trying to cross our border illegally, including in California and other states. Let's talk about this botched rail system and this $2.5 billion that was spent. And now the president is trying to get that money back. The governor there, Governor Newsom, is saying, that they should be able to keep the money. Could that money be used for the wall? Lots of folks trying to ask that question.
Absolutely, and it should be used for the wall. We have a crisis that's happening right now. Number one, the $2.5 billion is more money that was allocated for a high-speed rail than to protect our country and for our national security. Number two, if you take the $2.5 billion that was allocated for the high-speed rail, which Gavin Newsom has flip-flopped multiple times and just said this past week is going nowhere, it was pretty much a waste of dollars, along with the $900 million in federal grants that the Trump administration, the federal government, is holding back, with the $1.4 billion that Congress allocated, you're almost to a wall right there. You're almost to the funding that's needed.
And it's amazing. I mean, if people really take that into account, this is more money than was allocated for the border wall.
Absolutely. By the way, the high-speed rail, this is California's Stonehenge, okay? It was passed over 10 years ago, and it's not even projected to be done until 2022. And Governor Newsom then said that it will only go from Merced to Bakersfield. It's not even going to be complete. It's a waste of resources. Let's actually use the money, the California and our country's taxpayer dollars, for something good, as opposed to what California usually does, and waste taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, $35 billion initial estimate, supposed to be finished by 2020, and they hadn't even started it by 2014. Ashley Hayek, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, the time now is about 19 minutes after